Dying Light, a game that makes you feel happy, sad, remorseful, mad and terrified, all in the span of minutes. It's a game that manages to do so many things right, and that's what I will talk about today. So let's not waste any time and begin this journey of zombie apocalypse madness. In Dying Light, you play as Kyle Crane, a GRE agent who has been dropped into the quarantine zone of Haran, a city overtaken by a virus that turns people into zombies. Crane's main quest is to find a file stolen by a man named Kadir Suleiman, but on the way of finding him, a lot of things go wrong, but more on that later. The theme of the game is to do missions, help the people of Haran, and to try and find a cure to the disease. But this is just the beginning, so let's get into the long story of Dying Light. Right when Crane lands in Haran, his problems already start. A couple bandits and zombies attack him, but he's saved by Jade and Amir, people from a settlement called the Tower. Sadly, Amir sacrifices his life so Jade can save Kyle. Once Crane is back on his feet, he starts helping the Tower's people to sort of pay back for them saving him and to gain their trust. On a quest for antizin, a drug that temporarily cures effects of the Haran virus, Crane goes to Rise, a warlord who has been stealing the antizin drops and works for him so he'd give the Tower's people some. Turns out Rise is Suleiman. Crane reports it to the GRE and he keeps helping the Tower and finding information. While all this is happening, two doctors named Zere and Camden have been looking for a cure. Crane helps them with the research and they find out there's a chance for one. Meanwhile, Rahim, Jade's brother, wanted to bomb a volatile nest without anybody knowing. Crane helped him because he apparently had cut himself and couldn't do it. Rahim sadly dies to a bite wound that he didn't tell Crane about. After this event, everything goes to shit. Dr. Zere is kidnapped by Rise's thugs, and at around the same time Crane is informed that the Ministry wants to bomb Haran to get rid of the virus, but didn't tell people that there are survivors in the city. Crane goes to save Zere but is caught by Rise. He is put in an arena where he fights a bunch of zombies, but after beating them, he beats Rise's thugs, cuts Rise's arm off, and escapes. Sadly, Zere didn't make it. Crane goes to Sector 0, a separate area of Haran where he tries to find Jade because she has Zere's research. In Sector 0, Kyle finds a woman named Troy. Crane asks for a radio so he can talk to Jade. Jade, though, doesn't want to do anything with Crane, but after he told Jade that he is actually a GRE agent and told her about the bombing, she was even angrier. While all this happened, Rice captured Jade and made Crane fight a bunch of enemies before getting to her. It turned out Jade had also been bitten. Rice gave Crane a choice to either give antizin to Jade or himself, but eventually Jade makes the choice to save Crane since it was too late for her. Crane sadly puts Jade out her misery, just like he did Rahim. He had lost two of his friends and was now full of rage and wanted to make Rice suffer what he did. Time started to run out and he needed to quickly get on top of the highest antenna to send a message to the world not to bomb the city and that the Ministry knew there were survivors. He made it just in time and saved everybody, for now. After getting back in town, he went to Dr. Camden to give tissue samples from zombies to him, so he could try and find a cure to the virus. After this, he goes back to the slums where Rise is waiting for a GRE helicopter to save him with the research. Him and Rise fight and Crane finally kills Rise. Even though he got left with the helicopter, he decided to stay and help the people of Haran and help finding a cure. But the story doesn't end here. Since antizin was running out, Crane and Lena, the doctor of the tower, had to do something. They had heard a rumor from a man that there is a cult who is infected but have not turned even though they don't have antizin. Crane finds a way out of Haran with the map and starts looking for the cult called Children of the Sun, who worship the Mother. He wants to find out more about how they haven't turned into biters, and once the cult trusts him enough, the leaders tell him that it's nothing supernatural, but an elixir that is basically like antizin. But it's not a cure. The Faceless, the high-rank members of the cult, reveal they are working on a cure themselves, and if Kyle helps them, he can take it to Haran. Through helping them, Kyle finds out the virus was a military experiment. When Crane finally goes to the Mother's base, it turns out she's a volatile, but a sentient one. She is aware and calm in the day, but aggressive at night. The Mother explains that all the experiments were done here, at the dam, and that it was the location of the elixir, but turns out it's not even near to being a cure. Instead, it turns people into sentient volatiles like the Mother herself. At this point, Kyle can either do what the Mother wants and nuke Haran in order to save the rest of the world, killing everybody from the people to the infected inside the walls, or defy the Mother. If Kyle chooses this, the Mother makes him drink the elixir. Kyle fights and kills the Mother. Crane takes the other elixir vials, gets to the outside world, where he sees children playing, but when they get scared of him, he finds out the horrible truth. The Mother was right. There is no cure, and the elixir makes you into a monster. And like that, Kyle was now also a monster. A sentient volatile suffering in this dead body, yet being able to think like a person in the daytime. Quite a sad story, huh? But oh boy was it good. As much as I've played story-rich games, this is easily at the top 5. It makes you feel sad when someone important to Crane dies. I mean, he was there for only a short amount of time, but made friends like Rahim and Jade. It was so sad to see them die, and I truly could feel what Crane was feeling. Or every time Rice did his messed up bullshit, he was a monster and deserved death. Kyle did the right thing to kill him, and I was happy when he did it. But by far the most emotional is the ending. The fact that whatever you do, Kyle does not really have a happy ending. Personally, I believe him going to the outside as a volatile is the right ending. He kills the civilians and starts an outbreak, which then 15 years later begins the events of Dying Light 2. In conclusion of the story, I would say it's very intriguing and makes you feel so many emotions. It goes 0 to 100 so many times and I love it. Since this game is about absolutely destroying zombies, it only makes sense to talk about them next. There are 3 main stages / types of zombies. There are some other ones as well, but they aren't as common as these 3. Stage 1 zombies are virals, people who have very recently succumbed to the infection. They are highly aggressive and fast, but they are also still alive in this stage and sometimes can even talk to you. Unlike other zombies, they don't bite you because they are still human in a way, though they do eat dead bodies. Instead, they just claw and punch at you, and even though they have the strength and speed of a human, they don't have enough power to fight the virus. So eventually when their body degrades enough, they turn into stage 2, the biters. Since their bodies have degraded from being infected for such a long period, they lose their speed and coordination. Most zombies in Haran are in stage 2 and these are the first infected you encounter. As their name says, biters will bite you as a way of attacking you or swing and grapple at you. Though it may seem that biters are easy to handle because of their speed, they become a problem if there is a horde of them and if there is no way to avoid them. Some will bite you and others will swing at you, making it hard to escape an ambush like this. But both virals and biters start to seem like a piece of cake to fight once you encounter stage 3, the volatiles. These terrifying, insanely quick and durable monsters are literal nightmares. With their exposed bones and gory bodies, meeting them could easily get you killed. Volatiles have great sight and are faster than you, so the only way to escape them is to run as fast as you can. The best way to escape them is to go to the nearest safe zone by trying to lose them in corners where they are slower. But weirdly enough, volatiles aren't connected to biters, and that's why biters never change from stage 2 to 3. Humans turn into volatiles in quite a horrible way. Volatiles kidnap humans or round up other infected and take them to volatile nests. Then they slowly transform into the volatile form. There is even a mission in the following DLC where you go into a volatile nest and see a volatile called Sabbath, who is stuck in the ground and probably forming into a full volatile. It is quite an unsettling clip, so watch at your own risk.
Holy fuck.
This is probably a very painful and horrible way to go. I believe this is why volatiles are so aggressive, because they have gone through so much pain. There are other zombies as well, like toads who spit toxic snot, demolishers, which are humongous jacked up zombies that are unbelievably strong, and screamers who are infected toddlers or children. These ones make me feel really uncomfortable, and they also scream very loudly. But that's really it with zombies. There are 3 separate sections in the Dying Light world. The first area you encounter and start in is Harran. Harran is a big city and the main area in Dying Light. Like most cities, Harran has a wealthier section and a poor section of the city. The poor section is called the slums. The city is quite big, with skyscrapers making it feel like the player is tiny. I'd say it looks like any other city, except the fact it's an abandoned one. The second area you encounter is Sector 0, also known as Old Town. Before the outbreak, this area was the rich part of the city, proved by its masterful architecture of urban shops to its courtyards and cathedrals. Old Town was the first place struck by the Harran virus. Going around Old Town, you can see failed containment walls from when the outbreak started to quarantine areas. Sector 0 though is in much better condition than Harran, probably because of its much better built houses. Though Old Town may be in better condition, it has more mutated and stronger zombies than Harran. The last sector is from the DLC and it's the countryside. It's a huge area with fields, farms, lots of houses and a big destroyed highway. It also has a ton of zombies and you can even drive a car here to get to places quicker. I'd say overall I like all the areas and think they are all well done. And even though Sector 0 doesn't at all look similar to the slums, instead it's like an European city, like something in Italy, I still like it and think they go well. Plus it gives a feeling of freshness because you're playing a completely new area. Gameplay is a big reason I play Dying Light. It's an important part of the game, as if the gameplay isn't good, you probably won't play it. Dying Light's specialty, I would say, is the parkour. Being able to climb up buildings without much of a problem, jumping over ledges, bridges, holes and whatever other things you can jump over. Or the many agility skills you can acquire to even help in combat. These range from dodging, drop kicking, sliding, vaulting, tackling enemies, and tic-tacking, which is not at all what you think. There are so many cool things you can do with parkour, and it's the best way to either escape zombies or fight them if you're out of the attack stamina. Speaking of combat, the weapons are great. There's melee weapons like knives, which have short range and medium damage, but can be used a lot at once. Or weapons like axes that swing slow but deal high damage. There's even guns in the game, but I normally don't use them, because the noise just attracts more zombies, and that means more problems. But in the DLC, for example, there are even crossbows and bows. I'm not sure if they were in the base game or not, but if they were, then that's nice. Another very important aspect of gameplay is the zombie killing. For me, zombie killing has to be satisfying, detailed, moderately gory and epic. Dying Light managed to do this very well. Killing zombies is amazing because of all the cool weapons and different moves you can use. I myself really like to use the kick and drop kick ability. And to kill zombies, I always go for the head, because well, if zombies don't have a head, they can't really do anything. It's cool that the zombies' limbs can be cut off, or that they can be decapitated or even cut in half both ways. It does sound pretty gory, but hey, they're just zombies in a video game, and not real life. And I bet listening to some heart-pounding crazy music would make killing zombies even more fun. Maybe I should try it out. Overall, the gameplay feels very smooth and satisfying, except I do have one problem. The following DLC can get really boring at times. When I had to basically do side quests to gain the cult's trust, but I had none to do, so it was really boring. At least driving the buggy was fun. Ha! Just kidding! Even that was ruined by the hundreds of trees that were in my damn way. I swear that buggy is the most useless thing ever. But being serious, it honestly is sad that I haven't enjoyed the DLC. The plot is good, but man, I have not liked the gameplay. It is so damn difficult. Though that's probably because I put the game on hard mode and can't even insta-heal when using medkits. Anyways, enough rambling already, we need to get to the next chapter. Last but definitely not least, I think this game makes for a great horror game. The world itself is already eerie, because it's all abandoned and destroyed. The fact you are one of the few survivors and a bunch of zombies are always ready to kill you is quite scary. Though I think one of the scariest places are definitely the tunnels and sewers. The tunnels are filled with corpses and zombies. They're not at all safe and I always felt uncomfortable when in a tunnel. The sewers aren't as bad. They still have a lot of zombies, but they sometimes feel so quiet it is scary. Until the silence is broken by a kind of fireless, of course. The atmosphere is just eerie and unsettling. It really gives the feeling that you are in this horrible place with almost everything wanting to kill you. But by far the scariest is the night, because that's when volatiles awake. Firstly, it will get so dark that even your flashlight won't light too much, so that's already bad. There's a bunch of volatiles practically waiting to find prey like you. Escaping them is just terrifying. The adrenaline added with some scary chase music and monsters screeching right behind you makes doing anything at nighttime a horrifying task. So in conclusion, I think the monsters, atmosphere and just the vibe of Dying Light make it a great horror game. Dying Light manages to have one of the best stories ever. It makes you feel so many emotions. It's got a great variety of zombies, fantastic gameplay with some great parkour and combat abilities, a weapon selection fit for such a game, with some great zombie killing and horror. It truly is the best zombie game ever made, with all the necessary things put into one big pot and cooked until perfection. Well, I hope you guys liked this video. Be sure to look out for future videos. Thank you for watching and goodbye.